Now it's time for Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. I am laughing my ass off right now. um, why? I have no clue. This movie, I guess it could be one of those movies that's so bad it's good type of thing. I did not like this movie at all, but there's something about it that kept me entertained. The effects, I will admit the effects are pretty good. Uh, it's all practical stuff. No gore though. There is no gore. What you get instead though is a story that it seemed like they're doing what Hellraiser does. Because if you know what I mean about the Hellraiser movies 5 and up, they are not original Hellraiser stories. This is what I think about the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. They're turning into movies that were just, they slapped the Silent Night, Deadly Night title onto it. And oh, you've got a character named Ricky, played by Clint Howard. No, in no way, shape, or form does it have anything to do with the Ricky from Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, 2, and 3. Um, it's about, this movie is pretty much about a cult. They want a chosen one to lead them. They're pretty much a feminist group cult. And they want this writer, tabloid writer, newspaper writer named Kim. Uh, she is trying to write a story on spontaneous combustion because at the start of the film we see this woman on fire just falling to her death. Spontaneous combustion. And then we get the opening credits, and first we get a glimpse at Clint Howard, and then I like the opening credits. Uh, it's like swirls and everything, like almost looks a little bit like a Polyworld. Uh, and the first scene we actually get when after all the beginning credits are done, a sex scene. I fast forwarded through that, and I'm like, what does this have to do with the plot? So I just skipped past that, and so we're introduced to Kim and her boyfriend Hank. Hank, all he gives a fuck about is fucking. That's it. Nothing else. But yet he's like, oh, Kim, I care about you. I care about you. Let's fuck. And I'm just like, can you be any more of a dipshit? A douchebag. An asshole. He doesn't actually say, let's fuck, but he might as well because every time they're put on screen together, they're kissing each other and he's fondling her and whatever. And I'm just like, what the hell does this have to do with the plot? And Hank's got a little brother named. I just watched this movie and I forgot the brother's name. I'm gonna call him Lyle, even though that's not his name. Um, he's got a little brother by the name of Lyle, and we don't see him too much. We see him in maybe 2 scenes. Uh, we get introduced to Hank's father, who's a total asshole. I was waiting for him to die, but this is not a body count movie. 2 people die out of this whole movie. 3 if I'll explain in a little bit. Uh, so uh, Kim pretty much gets leads on what exactly happened to this woman, and she's trying to find out the identity of this woman. And she ends up going to a bookstore, picking up some paranormal and paranormal phenomenon books, and this weird woman, and like, have you ever seen those people that are so nice that they're kind of weird? Well, this is kind of the same deal. Uh, uh, Her name is, hold on, I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia. Okay. Wikipedia? Wikipedia. Wikipedia and IMDb are some good friends when it comes to movie stuff. IMDb. That would be better, wouldn't it? This movie, by the way, should have just been called Initiation, because this really has nothing to do with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah, it takes place on Christmas, but that's about it. And they had the nerve to actually put a Santa Claus on the cover, and there's not even a Santa Claus in the movie. If they wanted to pull people in with a famous title, well, they did it. Sorry, ads. Okay, here we are. Came out in 1990, which most 90s movies are awesome. It gets a 3.7 on IMDb, and I'd say it definitely deserves it. Okay, the characters. The woman's name is Fema, played by Maud Adams. And she seems nice at first, a little too nice. And I'm just like, okay, this character is probably going to be one of the main characters at some point in the movie. And Fema gives Kim the book for paranormal phenomena, and she takes it, and Fema takes that as a invitation to become best friends with Kim. So what happens is Kim goes back home, and she's not feeling very well. She's got a bad stomach ache, and she just sees bugs, cockroaches everywhere in her sink, and crawling in her spaghetti and whatnot. And I'm just like, ugh. And on the floor, way in the back, you can barely see it, there's this form, like just legs, just moving around really fast. And then if you look closer, it's a freaking giant cockroach. And so Kim ends up running right into the bathroom. I would have been running straight for the door out of the apartments, but it's a horror movie, so you can't expect much. Uh, Especially a 90s movie, you gotta keep that plot going. And you gotta put in those creature effects. That's what really kept me entertained. So, anyways, we see her go into the bathroom, and then we see the cockroach crawling on the floor, and it's put up right in your face like this. And I'm just like, I would never want that crawling around me. Ugh. I hate cockroaches. I hate bugs. Like, I'm not afraid of bugs, but I just can't stand them. Flies are annoying, but cockroaches are the worst. Okay, and we also have Kim's best friend, Janice, who she seems cool. It's actually played by the same woman who played in Rumpelstiltskin, Heidi. If anybody remembers that movie, she's the one who pretty much got against thrown across the room and died. Uh, and she got her neck snapped. Uh, so, anyways, uh, she's in the movie. She seems pretty nice. Her character seems pretty nice. And the more the movie goes along, I'm like, keep moving forward. And Kim gets invited to a meeting with FEMA and her friends. And they're all too nice. Just too nice. Like, ease back a little bit. You're a little too nice there. So, anyways, they all introduce themselves. And you have kind of a lesbian-esque scene. Like, not really lesbian, but it's just kind of weird. FEMA pretty much, Kim is laying down. She drank some wine and she's feeling a little dizzy. So she ends up holding out her hands, looking at the trees, and FEMA gets up close and pecks her. Just like, and I'm just like, what? What? She barely knows this woman and she's letting her kiss her? Anyways, Hank ends up coming by and telling Kim, hey, we've got to go. You've got to get to your job. Eli is off his rocker right now. You need to go. And so Kim goes, of course, to her job because she doesn't really mind getting fired, but she wants to keep the story going. She wants to keep investigating the story. So she goes, and what you know, she actually gets the opportunity to actually write the story. So all the investigating, she no longer has to investigate. She can just feel free to look at it whenever she wants. So, sure enough, she ends up finding out what caused the spontaneous combustion, yada yada yada. And she ends up going over to FEMA's apartment. She's making tea. FEMA's making some tea. And what happens is they're just sitting there talking, and then she puts something in the tea and hands it to Kim, and then Kim ends up, and she starts saying, it tastes bitter. And She starts to feel dizzy yet again. Like, there's something up with her being dizzy through most of this movie. And her stomach starts to hurt again. And then she passes out. She opens up her eyes again. She's surrounded by FEMA, her two friends, Clint Howard, and the Butcher, Joe the Butcher. Why I didn't say anything about him, the reason being, he's not really that big of a character, but Joe the Butcher is there. And they're all like in a circle around her, like a gauntlet sort of thing. And they end up pretty much putting something on her, which is this huge, pretty much a baby cockroach, a huge baby cockroach. They put it on her stomach, and before they do that, they draw like a polywhirl around her stomach, and then they put the baby cockroach on it, and it crawls into her stomach. Really cool effect. It's not gory or anything. It's one of those one shot then another shot. First they cover the blanket up over the cockroach and the stomach, and then when they take it off, the cockroach is already inside the stomach crawling around, and it crawls all the way up her gullet and comes out her mouth. And I'm just like, ugh. That makes me... Ugh. I was hungry until I saw that scene, and then I was just like, I lost my appetite. So, anyways, after that is all done, FEMA takes the cockroach and lifts it like it's nothing. Like, she's not grossed out or anything by it. She cuts the thing in half and squirts the blood, goo, whatever. It's not really blood, it's more like of a clear goo, and sprays it all over Kim's mouth. And I'm just like, ugh. If this movie's trying to gross you out, it definitely does that. So, anyways, the movie keeps going along. We pretty much, Kim's perfectly fine now. She wakes, pretty much snaps out of it and closes her eyes, and then the next second she's back in what seems like normal reality. And she ends up going to FEMA. Well, FEMA ends up coming to her because Kim's about to leave. She just wants to get out of there, go home. Get out of there and go home. And FEMA's like, stay. You're my daughter. And I'm just like, wait, what? And here's where the movie starts to get a little interesting. Not that the effects weren't interesting, but here's where the movie starts to get a little interesting for me. FEMA is so obsessed with her daughter because her daughter died, and we're like, who the hell is her daughter? And then she says, Lilith was my daughter, and Lilith happens to be pretty much is supposed to be the big ruler over the cult. And like I said before, it's a feminist cult, so they hate all men, and so they react real harshly to Kim having a boyfriend. And Kim ends up going over to her boyfriend's house. Well, actually, it's her apartment, but yet her boyfriend is there. No pants on, just a buttoned-up shirt. And she's all tipsy and everything, like nothing's going on. And then she's she ends up falling on top of him after he's pretty much caressing her and telling her, oh, everything's gonna be alright. She's crying, and then the next minute, she's, oh, I'm horny. She doesn't say that, but she might as well have. And she's like, I like it when you're still. And I'm like, what? Is she a necrophiliac now or something? And so they end up doing it. By the way, there is sexuality in this, but there's no nudity. Like, you hear moaning and whatnot, and you see the actions being performed, but you don't actually see nudity. You don't see any butts, you don't see any genitals, you don't see any boobs, nothing like that. So, it's kind of like tasteful sex scenes, and I'm just like, what the hell does this have to do with the plot? I wanted to watch just a normal bug movie, because I heard this was all about bugs. And I don't mind bug movies. I like Mimic. Even though this isn't really a bug movie, it's a worm movie. Squirm, that's a pretty cool one. Cheaply made, but something about it I just happen to like. This one's a slug movie. Slither, that's a good one. Bug movies. Arachnophobia, if you want to call that bugs, but arachnids, bugs, yeah. Arachnophobia is a good one. Creepy Crawlers is a pretty good one. It's kind of a weird one. It's got Dean Stockwell in it. Most people might remember him from Quantum Leap. He's in that movie. But anyways, back on topic. So anyways, they're in the middle of getting it on, and Clint Howard comes in, and he's all smiling and whatnot. And he ends up sitting on the bed, turning on the TV, and what's on? Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. And something about these Silent Night movies, they're trying to make it to where either A, they were performing the movie all along, which of course it's a movie in the first place, so you know. Or B, they're characters that are just plain thinking they're characters. Like Ricky is thinking he's Ricky, the brother of Billy. But anyways, it's Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, and he's like laughing and everything, and Hank ends up pushing Kim off of him and being like, what the hell are you doing in this apartment? And I'm like, you're not a really big tough guy when you've got no pants on and you've got no shirt on, so I wouldn't be talking, man. And so he's buttoning up his shirt, putting on some pants, and he gets a knife and goes after Clint Howard with it, and he's like, I just want Kim. And he was sent there just to get Kim, and that was it. So, Clint Howard and Hank kind of have a face-off, and Hank loses, gets stabbed. We don't see him getting stabbed, so we don't see any puncture wounds or anything. We just see, like, the feet of Clint Howard and Hank, and just, like, moving around, and we hear the sound of stabbing going on, like, and then blood drips, and then Hank falls to the floor, and he's got, like, the dead look on his face, like the look of a person getting stabbed, like, it hurts, it hurts. So, Hank is dead. That's one death. And then Kim is pretty much told, you must get Hank's brother Lyle. And so if she gets Lyle, she won't die from being spontaneously combusted. And things start to really make sense. It turns out FEMA's daughter was the woman at the beginning who jumped off the building. Why she spontaneously combusted, she didn't go along with what her mother wanted. And so the same thing is happening to Kim. She's not feeling completely right. She's about to spontaneously combust unless she brings Lyle to FEMA. And like I said, Lyle's not his character's name. I'm just saying that because I forgot. But anyways, FEMA wants Lyle dead. So Kim and Clint Howard both pick up Lyle, take him all the way up to the apartment rooftops where FEMA's daughter Lilith jumped off. Spontaneous combustion mess. Anyways, here's where the movie starts to lose me again. Kim is told pretty much, if you kill him, you will no longer have to feel spontaneous combustion. And I'm like, how the hell does that work? The movie's logic is just plain mind-boggling. And she decides, oh, you know what, I'm not going to kill Lyle. So she takes the knife, puts it right into FEMA, and it doesn't even faze her. Like, she goes like, and then she's just walking around with a knife in her stomach. She pulls it out, and Clint Howard steps in the way, trying to protect Kim. Like, he finally gets some senses knocked into him, and is like, oh my god, I'm doing a bad thing. Trying to make this woman kill a little boy. And so he steps right in front of Kim to try and protect Kim. And FEMA shoves the knife and slices up Clint Howard's stomach. And then Clint Howard falls to the ground, and we've got all these giant baby cockroaches coming around Clint Howard's stomach, and they're eating out his insides. We don't see anything, but it would have been a cooler effect than what it was. It was still a cool effect, but it would have been better with gore. So, anyways, Clint Howard's down for the count, and FEMA tries pretty much cursing Kim, and Kim, her fingers start demorphing and pretty much morphing together with her other fingers on the other hand, and her entire arms twist around, kind of like this, in like a really cartoony way. This looked practical mixed with a little CGI, pretty much. And her arms start to go on fire, and pretty much what happens is she's like, fuck this, shoves her arms into FEMA's stomach, and then FEMA ends up becoming the one who spontaneously combusts and falls to her death. And then Kim and Lyle are talking, and the other cult women end up coming over, and they don't say a word. They've just got blank looks on their faces, and they're just like, And then the movie ends. The movie just cuts off right in the middle of the scene. Like, it's not like anybody's saying anything, but like, it just goes from one shot to the credits. And I'm like, that's it. An hour and 24 minutes, and that's it. I didn't know what way to react with what I just saw. And the good points. The bug effects. Clint Howard was pretty cool. Like, I'm alright with Clint Howard. He does a good job with most of the movies he's in. The lead girl was the actress who played her. She did a pretty good job. The feminist group was kind of cool. Haven't seen that in a horror movie. Mostly it's done in a drama movie, but it worked well in a horror movie. That's 4 good things. Now for the bad. The acting on everybody else. Didn't like it. The fact that the boyfriend was such a horn dog and Kim didn't want to leave him. Well, there was a part in the movie where she wanted to leave him, but then she decided, oh, maybe not. So, stupid decision. The feminist group did kind of get on my nerves halfway through because they were like, men are evil, men are evil. And I'm just like, Then, number 4, probably, I just found the first half to be pretty damn boring. Other than the creature effects, it was just boring. It bored me. Not as much as Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, but it was still pretty boring. This is better than Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, don't get me wrong, but if Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3 is here, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4 is about here. Like, just above Part 3. Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 is right here, and Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is right here. I've still got one more to do. Damn. So, anyways, what do I rate this? I'm gonna give it 4 out of 10. That's being generous because there were some parts that I liked and then some parts I didn't like. The pros and cons. The pros, right here. The cons, right here. There are some good points and some bad points, like I just said. I say give it a look. It works well by itself. It should have just been called Initiation. And Clint Howard did a good job. I like Clint Howard. I think he's a pretty good actor. He does good with what he has to work with. They should have just stopped the Silent Night, Deadly Night series after Part 2. Like, they really should have. Because 3, not too, well, not a very good movie. 4, it's better than Part 3, but that's not saying much. And Part 5, still have yet to see it, but I heard it sucks major balls. So, anyways, that's my review over Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4, Initiation. So, I'll be back next week with Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, Silent Night, Black Christmas, and probably a guilty pleasure of mine, Santa's Slay. I haven't decided if I'm going to review that this year at least, but I don't know. Depends on how I'm feeling. But during Christmas time, I'm definitely reviewing Black Christmas. So anyways, peace out. I'm going to go watch something more entertaining.